Hi, and welcome to Astrology and Earth Magic. I'm Jen, and I'm here to provide some astrological wisdom to take us through the month of August. So we are about halfway through the summer now, and actually we celebrate on the 1st of August the pagan festival of Lammas or Lunasa. And that is the festival for the first harvest, and you bake bread made with the wheat that you harvest and share it with everybody. Beer is a big thing at this time. So it's kind of almost the start of the pagan autumn. So that's about when that starts. So that's tomorrow. So hopefully the weather will improve because you'll see we're inside, and I'm sorry already for my lighting just being awful, but we're about to get a pretty big storm. So we'll probably see that come blowing up pretty soon. Hopefully we'll get this done first. So talking about the astrology of August. So we start off with a Venus square to Saturn. Now Venus is in Cancer and Saturn is in Aries. So this is water and fire. Water and fire don't really mix very well. This is at the 1st degree. So you might be feeling a little bit, maybe sad, depressed, maybe a little bit separated. Saturn is that planet that is that gatekeeper. It's at the end of the traditional planets and kind of that last one. So you might be feeling that maybe even in your love life and your friendships. You might be feeling a little bit like an outsider. You might have some loneliness creeping up. You could even have some stress over money, some anxiety about that. A lot of anxiety maybe about money or about your relationships that could be popping up about now, the 1st of the month. And, so over the weekend, so this first week, if you have kind of emotional issues, it's okay. It's written in the stars, like they say. It's going to go away because things do improve as the month goes on. But we do have to contend with this first week. It's going to be a little bit difficult because next Venus squares Neptune, of course, because Neptune is right there behind, in front of Saturn. So you get insecurities maybe popping up. Maybe you have false hopes. You're looking at things with kind of like that, blurred vision, seeing what you want to see instead of what's really there. Maybe you're even feeling a little bit of lack of self-esteem. Maybe you feel you don't look that good. Maybe you're a little bit, kind of just feeling uncomfortable in your own skin. This could lead to maybe overeating because when you get depressed, you go run into food. A lot of people do anyway. So you go running to food or even something worse. This is Neptune, so you could be running towards something to kind of dull or drown that pain. So you want to be careful there because again, like I'm saying, sometimes it's good. You might want to just cry it out. Sometimes that Neptune, that's like tears, that's moisture, that's cry that out. Get the sadness out of your system because things are going to start improving as the month goes on. So you don't want to over drink, overdo anything, over imbibe, over shop, overeat, and do something that you regret in the end. On the 6th of the month, so still within that first week, we have Mars moving into Libra. Now, Libra is Mars's detriment. So Mars likes to do things on its own. It doesn't want to be forced to cooperate, forced to share, to kind of be one of a duo instead of one of its own. But, it's like that us, not me kind of mentality where Mars doesn't really care for that much. So starting off a little bit stifled. Mars then does trine Uranus. So, I don't want to be forced to conform. So you're going to kind of like maybe feel like you want to break out a little bit. And this is kind of a good thing because you want to, you want your freedom. You want to be able to get out there and you don't want to be held back because that Venus with that Saturn, square is kind of being that, thing that's holding you back. But now you're kind of breaking free from that, because that's kind of past a little bit. So you're breaking free. You want freedom. You want freedom to be creative, however you want to be creative, to do the things you want to do, to, you're energized. You're feeling just motivated in these new ideas and pursuits that you're starting to have. Mars in Libra. This could even be in your relationships. Like, okay, I'll conform and we'll do this we thing, but, we're going to do this and we're going to do something that I want to do, something exciting. So it brings that excitement into that Mars in Venus. So it's a different kind of harmony. It's like we're going to be having some harmony because we're going to be doing some active stuff, some crazy stuff, maybe some passionate stuff, some that, are a little out of the ordinary, because we got Uranus thrown in there. So, hey, if, you're all for it and everyone's on board, then why not, right? So, that's where that kind of that, iffy and detriment then is brought out by that nice trine to Uranus that brings it kind of some fun flair into it. So then, actually that is, Mars trines on the 8th, so a little bit after. So we see things start to be picking up a little bit as we get out of that first week. Then Mars opposes Saturn. That's at that 1st degree, and that's, putting on the brakes. Like, okay, wait a minute, we're getting a little bit too crazy here. We need to kind of back the truck up, calm it down a little bit. So you're forced to wait. You start getting frustrated a little bit. You start feeling that like, oh, man, I was really getting my hopes up for that. So, as the week goes on, you could start feeling that little like, I want to do these things. I want to have fun, but something's holding me back. Something, it could be in your own mind. Like, what, this isn't my thing. And you start feeling maybe even a little bit afraid to do these things that you were so excited to do. Then on the 9th, Mars, of course, then opposes Neptune. Or actually it opposes Saturn. I'm sorry, did I say square? It's in opposition to Saturn, but then it opposes Neptune. So, and that is, again, it brings on that insecurity. It's like, okay, so we were gung-ho at first and thinking like, oh, kind of being excited, but then we slow down a little bit and we're like, maybe I'm not going to do that. Maybe that isn't such a good idea. And you start feeling, that insecurity come popping up, and maybe even pursuits with your friends, with people at work, bosses, that kind of thing. Maybe it starts getting to you. Maybe like you start thinking that they're talking behind your back. You start getting angry a little bit, and you start just feeling uncomfortable, feeling like, you're looking around and wondering what's going on. And that brings on the full moon in Aquarius. So this is when you just want to tell anybody and just say, you know what? I don't give a fuck what people are saying, because I'm going to be me, and that's it, y'all, because this is that full moon in Aquarius. And Aquarius is that, outside the box, kind of like be your own person. Don't conform. You don't have to be what everybody else is. So this also is reevaluating your life's purpose. So rethinking the things that you've kind of been doing. And it's like, am I doing this for myself, or am I doing this for everybody else? And because we have Mercury here also separating its opposition with Pluto. So that is that rethinking, that deep introspection, just like, maybe this isn't what I want to be doing. Maybe I'm going to kind of break from authority a little bit. Maybe I kind of want to do my own thing, and I am doing this for somebody else and not for me. It's kind of like, so I wrote in my notes, it's that Cartman line, if anyone watches South Park, it's that, screw you guys, I'm going home. Because you just want your independence. You just want to be who you want to be, and stop being stifled and stop being held back, and just be you. And if your friend group, if your work is not letting you be your genuine true self, then maybe that is a place that you don't want to be, and maybe you want to start looking for something else, some new friends or some new outlet. especially with the friends group, because if you think about the Uranus kind of is that ruler of the 11th house. That's your outside friends group and the way people kind of perceive you in your, in a group. And if people are not seeing you how you want to be seen and are expecting you to be a certain way, then you want to go ahead and break free from that. On the 10th, Mars is going to trine Pluto, and this means it's a means to an end. So if you are going to stay doing something that isn't quite so fulfilling, if your friend group, it's a means to an end. So maybe, it's helping you along somehow. Maybe this partnership that you're in is helping you to kind of grow in a way, maybe grow a business or grow in a way that you couldn't do by yourself. So you're going to use that and just really be focused on the goal at hand. So what is your long-term goal here? Maybe you need to be making a certain amount of money. So to make that money, you have to do this, what you're doing, and that will help you get this end goal, whatever that goal is. It can be anything, again, with a partnership. Maybe you want to open your own store, but you don't have the money to do that. So you go into a partnership with somebody else, because Mars is in Libra. So this is going in and maybe doing things with somebody else that maybe you wouldn't necessarily want to do, that you couldn't do on your own. So you're just getting that extra boost. But it really, again, is a means to an end. So it's a means to transform yourself and to just kind of get to where you want to go and transform your life into the life that you want to have. So look at it like a stepping stone into your new life. On the 11th, Mercury is stationing direct. So if you've had a lot of stuff going on with miscommunication, with problems with your internet or computer issues or things. I know I have seen a lot of that going on, just around, like, my husband can't send pictures from the house, like just different things. So maybe once Mercury starts going retrograde or starts going direct, we won't have those issues anymore and things will calm down a little bit. And it will, so this is at the early degrees of Leo. By the 15th degree, it'll be out of its post-shadow period, which will be on the 25th. So you have some time to, again, look back and see, like, what have I learned over the past month during this retrograde time? What have I rethought of? What have I retried? I know there's a lot of things that I'm redoing a little bit differently, that I had to go back and fix and redo. And now going forward, I've learned lessons from them so that I can move forward and, hopefully do them correctly in the future. So I won't make the same mistakes that I have been making. So you want to use the retrogrades, even though they can be difficult, you want to use that post-shadow period to really focus on, okay, you know what? Here's my takeaway from what I learned. And now I'm going to use this moving forward. You can almost look at it as a full moon, for instance, because, we're at the peak right now, Mercury's done. And now it's like, what did we gain from all this? Kind of like with the full moon that we just had, right before this, Mercury going direct, which was on what day? Again, was that the 9th? So just 2 days later, we have it. So it's a lot of bringing what we've learned forward. So, kind of just, going with the momentum, leaving behind what we feel is not necessary to us, moving forward what we think we really are learning from and benefiting from. So, reevaluate maybe your life in general and your goals and your means to an end. So, it's forward marching time. Now, Mercury's moving forward, so we're starting to get going. So I look at this a lot like it's kind of like that Fool card. So because we have so much forward momentum going on that's just starting, and it's going to be a little bit slow at first, but we've learned from the waxing moon phase. We learned from that Mercury retrograde phase. It's almost like you're the fool. It's like you pulled the fool card that representing yourself, and you're embarking on a new mission or a new something, a new adventure in your life. And that's, you're moving forward from that. So I kind of look at this like, on the 11th, we're pulling that fool card and we're moving forward with things. On the 12th, things really start looking up. And this is my very favorite aspect of the month, because we have Venus, beautiful Venus of love, and all the things that we love and that makes us just feel good in life, is going to be conjunct to Jupiter. This is going to be on the 12th, and both in the sign of Cancer, which is such a happy, nice sign. So this is going to feel very lucky, maybe lucky in love, maybe lucky at home. Cancer is about the home and your family. So maybe just some good things happen within your family. Doing things fun with your family might be a great thing to do right now. It's getting like it is the second part, like we talked about in the beginning of the video. We're at the second part, kind of that waning phase of the summer. So embrace that. Have everybody over for Lamaze tomorrow, do something fun, and, have good food, have a good cookout, maybe a big bonfire, be outside, be amongst beauty, just have fun. Also, it could be a very lucky aspect, because with that Jupiter in there, and then Venus could be the representation of money. Look at where this falls in your chart. Definitely. For me, it falls in my 7th house, so I could be lucky in my, romance department and my marriage. Like maybe something good will happen. Something good always happens in my marriage, so I'm not really, I'll be surprised if it's anything over the top. But hey, who the heck knows, But this is going to be a nice switch from the beginning of the month, where you're going to be feeling a little bit lonely, a bit like uncomfortable in your own skin, insecure, and now you're just feeling good, and it's like, ooh, and it's a big good feeling with this conjunction. This is our two benefics in a nice sign of home and family just being positive. So, lucky in love, lucky in money, maybe go out and get a scratch off ticket, play the lotto. Who knows? Can't hurt to try, right? Right. So on the 14th, Mars will sextile Mercury. So this actually, they're going to be kind of hanging out together until the 20th. So they're going to kind of just be, in that nice sextile, working together for a few days. You get a good almost a week of them working together. I'll talk a little bit louder because it's downpouring here all of a sudden. So I knew it was coming. So this aspect with this Mercury sextile to Mars is that like, ooh, my spidey senses are tingling, and you feel like, okay, I know what to do. Like, you're the one with the ideas, and like, oh, I know. And like, everyone's going to be going through it. So everyone's going to be feeling a little bit motivated. Your senses are going to be a little bit keener. Like I said, like your spidey senses are going to be tingling. You're going to be able to take quick action if you feel that it's needed. Like, do something, this could even be if you're in an argument, Mars is in there. Of course, there's always arguments involved. And you just have the best comebacks for them. And it's just like, oh, someone's talking, and you just like sass them right back. And it's just the perfect thing that you never could think of on your own. So, and this is going to last a couple days. So you're going to, again, be able to think on your feet, be able to, come up with quick and creative ideas, quick and creative, like maybe jokes, comebacks, who knows what. Nice positive aspect going on for that week. Keeps Mars a little bit, controlled and a little bit nicer. On the 15th, Venus will then trine the North Node. So you see how everything, once we get halfway point through the month, everything starts picking up a little bit. This is on the heels of that Venus conjunct Jupiter. The North Node is our goals in life. It's our karmic, place that we're aiming for in this life. It's where we're supposed to go, what we're supposed to grow towards, and how we're supposed to progress in this life, how we're supposed to evolve in this life. And so again, this could be very karmic. This could be your fate coming up, that fate and fortune. So because we have the North Node, that's your fate, and then we have the fortune, that's the Jupiter in there. So you want to keep your eyes open and look for the signs. Again, wouldn't hurt to buy a lottery ticket. Don't spend a ton of money. Don't go crazy just because Jen and my YouTube video just told me so, because I don't want to hear anything about I spent a ton of money and I didn't win anything with these aspects. Look at where they fall in your chart, because that all makes a difference too. But let's just ride on this high, because it's going to feel really good for a little while. So once we get past that first week, y'all, actually for the first week and a half, things really start picking up. So on the 22nd, the sun goes into Virgo. So now we got to get serious. Now we got to, Virgo season, we start getting a little bit practical. And again, this is a lot like the festival Lammas that's on the Wiccan wheel that I've been talking about, that starts, it's pretty much the start of autumn on the Wiccan wheel. And that is about being practical. It's about preparing for what's to come, reaping what you've sown. So Lammas is about, okay, we grew our crops, now we're going to take them down. We're going to start, baking bread, sharing it with people. We're going to start preparing for what's coming up. And now Virgo season, we're preparing to get back to school and back to school shopping. We're also preparing for those colder months. So maybe we're getting all our veggies and we're starting to can them. If you have gardens and you like doing stuff like that. If you're growing herbs and you're growing flowers that you might be using for different, teas or remedies of some sort. If you're into Wicca, if you're doing spells with them, now's the time you want to start kind of cutting that stuff, bagging them up, letting them all kind of dry out a little bit before you start jarring them up. So now is the time of preparation, because these are the things that you're going to need throughout the winter months that you're not going to be able to grow on your own. So if you want to prepare, like once it's back to school, you got to, people going off to college, they got to buy all their things. So this is a time of preparation. Virgo is about being practical. So let's not get crazy. We don't have to go crazy, but we're going to be smart about it. Like, we're going to be smart about what we start saving and what we start planning for. And then we are going to, the new moon that is in Virgo comes up on the 23rd. This is at 0 degrees. So this is a pure Virgo energy we have going on. Very practical, very kind of, goal focused. Okay, I know where I want to be. I know what I want to do. So we're going to be focused on, again, going back to that. It's a means to an end. So I want to survive throughout the winter. I need these things. I need this to do it. I'm going to buy oil and fill my oil tank. I'm going to get a quart of wood sent. Again, it's just all that stuff that's in preparation. That new moon, it's getting ready. It's starting something anew, starting that new, getting ready for the new season that's going to be coming up. So then the new moon, so the sun and the moon together, conjunct, will square Uranus. And it's a sudden need to just transform everything. I want to redo this. So that practicality gets a little wrench thrown in it. And so then you're like, okay, I'm going to get a whole new wardrobe. It's all going to be funky, and I throw all this other crap away. So I'm purging everything that I have and getting all new stuff. Or maybe you're just purging in general. Maybe you said, you know what? I used to love collecting X stuff. Say maybe I collected, I don't know. And now I'm kind of over that, so I'm going to get rid of it. So kind of cleaning house. Virgo likes to clean house, and I'm going to get rid of this. No, I'd never. But he's driving me crazy right now. He can't stop rubbing up against me. But it's about being practical. So getting rid of the things, again, that you don't need. And this could be like something that you've had forever and you're just like, you know what, I'm done with this. I can't anymore. So it's that sudden need to just kind of throw stuff away and get rid of stuff, donate. But that's also helping other people too. So, if you've been saving these pairs of jeans that you're never going to fit into again, but you keep just like, I just might, just get rid of them. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And when it does happen, if you do end up losing the weight, they're probably going to be out of style anyway. So just get rid of them, give them to somebody that can enjoy them now. It's kind of like streamlining. Also streamlining at work. So Virgo is about your everyday work and routines. So maybe you're going to change your everyday routines to make things a little more streamlined. Like, okay, so I normally do this. Well, now I'm going to kind of configure stuff together so everything kind of flows a little bit easier. Kind of, again, being more practical, being more logical, and being more streamlined, doing the things that need to be done and kind of forgetting about what doesn't need to be done. Try to overcome any kind of negative feelings that have been kind of bothering you, because it is a square to Uranus. So again, you could be feeling a little uncomfortable in your own skin. It could be where Virgo is so practical and so almost normal, and then Uranus is so not normal that you could, if you are non-conforming like with everybody else, like I said earlier in the video, if you're a little bit different, maybe you feel like you don't fit in, you want to embrace that. So again, you don't want to do something that's for everybody else, you want to do something that's for you. Just embrace your individuality. That's what it's all about. On the 25th, we have Venus going into Leo, and then immediately we'll trine Saturn. So this is really nice because even though Saturn, I know people give it a bad rap, but it's trine to Saturn. So this is something good. This is like, you know what? I've been debating this and now I think I'm ready to commit. So it's about looking good and feeling good. Venus and Leo, it's about like, hey, look at me. Like, oh, I got my hair done and I got my new outfits on for school and I'm going to be going to school and looking good. And you know what? And maybe, super positive about the future, just feeling good. Your heart light shining, and it trines Saturn. And it's like, you know what? All this work I'm putting in, it's going to benefit me in the end. And you're thinking positive about the future, about that future outlook, because that Saturn is that like something that's not going to happen right away, but it could. You're building to that with all your hard work. And it's just about like, are you ready to take that next step? And this is a time where you need to think, yes, I am ready to take that next step. So on the 26th, if you haven't bought that lotto ticket, now is the time to do it, because Venus is then sextile Uranus. So that is about, some big change that could have to do with relationships or money or something like that. So, you're going to be buying lottery tickets all month long. I know I'm probably going to. Who knows what's going to happen? But, it's that also that freedom feeling that, I want to be outside and where it's beautiful or whatever you find beautiful. I always say outside because that's what I find beautiful. But it's about going out and spinning on that mountaintop, feeling that freedom and breathing in that free, open air and just, oh my God, this cat. And just letting yourself go and feeling free and feeling good. And that is, I think it's a great, just little bonus at the end of the month. On the 26th, Venus will then trine Neptune. So, romance could be in the air coming towards the end of the month. We got a long weekend coming up. So, enjoy it. Get away. I know we're going away that weekend. So, you want to take the time to really enjoy this high that you're going to be on. It's going to be kind of like a emotional, romantic, just that kind of high at the end of the month. Get away with the person that you love, or do the things you want to do, maybe eat, drink, be merry, have a blast, and enjoy that long weekend that's going to be coming up before we got to get back to the old grind after Labor Day. I was going to say Memorial Day, completely different season. So anyway, Bean. On the 27th, Venus will oppose Pluto. Now I can't talk, so I'm talking to my cat. So that whirlwind romance can all of a sudden be a little bit, So if it is something new, especially a new romance, you could almost start feeling overly possessive. You could start feeling that new partner's getting overly possessive and kind of just being a little bit much. Maybe you're second guessing it. Just be careful not to get in too deep here. Get maybe jealous and obsessive and that. On the 29th, Neptune will sextile Uranus. Ongoing outer planet sextiles are really showing us that everything is going to work out in the end. So you just want to hold on. The gateway to our futures is opening, and we need to be able to have the courage to walk through that gateway. Your dreams are coming true, but you must be willing to change and go with it. Again, this month is not going to start out easy. You're going to feel a little bit lonely, a little bit, uncomfortable, but hold on, mid-month things are going to be looking up. So keep focused. Keep on a good path. Have a great weekend this weekend. If any of y'all are doing anything fun for Lamas or Lugnasa, have a great time. Bake some bread. Share it with everybody. Have some beers. Have a great time. Please let me know what you think about this month in the comments. Sorry, I babbled a little bit. I ran a little bit longer than I wanted to, but please comment. Help the channel grow, and we'll just have a lot of fun together and just let things fall as they may around us. We'll keep up on what's going on in the world around us. So make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Got a lot of fun coming up. Next month looks really interesting. So we have August and then September with all of our eclipse season coming up. So you want to stay tuned for that. So make sure you get that notification bell, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.